And in 1930, when Master Farad Muhammad, Allah in person, taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad of his aim and purpose against America, and Elijah Muhammad going on that word without any evidence in view of the ultimate destruction of America, began to preach that judgment. Now, his faith was so strong in the God and in the ultimate justice of his aim and purpose that he preached it, and black folks said, this is awful. Elijah Muhammad is saying that the white people are devils and that God is going to kill all of them. This is awful. This is wicked. I know some good ones. Oh, yes, I do. That Elijah is just awful. And the more we condemn Elijah Muhammad as being a hate teacher, the God who sent Elijah Muhammad to us began manifesting our enemies more and more. And as the enemy began to manifest more and more on every level, we begin to sort of agree a little bit. Maybe they are devils. It's quite possible. I'm not altogether sure, but it's quite possible. By the 1960s, when Bull Connor and the boys were dealing with poor Martin Luther King and all the rest of the integrationists, the sit-ins, the freedom rides and whatnot, we were beginning to say, well, yes, Lord, they are evil. You coming more in line. But look at what God had to cause the enemy to do to you to manifest that his judgment was true all along. That you should not have any trouble accepting God's judgment or decision against the wicked, because you have lived in their midst, you and your fathers, for 400 years, and you should know their evil better than anybody else on the earth, other than your brothers and sisters from Azania or South Africa. You and your people in South Africa know them better than anybody else, so you should have been the first to say, go on with it, Allah, you certainly are justified. But your heart of compassion got in the way. So what God ultimately has to do with a people like you and me, He has to bring us to the point where our hearts harden against the wicked. And we come more in line with God and say, yes, I see now, bring it on. And the moment you see and say, bring it on, that's when He does it. But He wants you out of the way, because you are really innocent, but you're making yourself guilty by denying the justice and the judgment of God, trying to go along with white people, trying to find some good ones, trying to get involved in their filthy, indecent, decadent, immoral debauchery. You are making yourself now worthy of the chastisement of God for your evil, trying to make Him a liar. He's not a liar. Listen, man. All praise is due to Allah. You trying to make God a liar. That's all it is. He said they're evil. He went into their nature and showed you how they were made and the base upon which they were made. The Bible says that they are liars and murderers from the beginning. And Elijah Muhammad showed us in the making of the Caucasian, in their grafting out of the original black man. That they, in order to get white out of black, you have to kill the darker and save the lighter. Kill the darker and save the lighter. So if you keep that up for a period of time, you get you a Caucasian. But a Caucasian with murder in his heart, he can't help himself. He's a made killer. He's a born murderer. The Bible calls him a bloodshedder. He can't help himself. He can't help himself. He's a liar from the beginning and abode not in the truth. So says John. Now, when the messenger told us these things of the Caucasian, we were trying to make them good because you knew a good one when you were not so good yourself, because they didn't make you good. They made the Negro, and they made the Negro like themselves so that you couldn't distinguish good from evil except by the standard that they gave you. Beloved, when they mixed their blood in us, by putting their blood in us, they made us naturally lean or incline toward their filthy way of life. So that right now, because of their blood in us, we have sympathy for them and their world order. And it hurts us to think that God would uproot their whole world. But the black man of the earth will never be able to live in peace until the Caucasian is destroyed and their way of life, their thinking, their philosophy, their world is uprooted out of the thinking of black people. They have poisoned you and me against self. Since 1960, the enemy has come up with a new game. His game plan is to fake friendship. So he smiles. But if you look at it, it's not real. But he wants to make you think that after 400 years of mistreating you, that your 400-year-old enemy has now become your friend. He gives you a little integration, social integration. He allows you to sleep in his motels and go to toilet, on the highway, which is very nice of him. He gives you these little jobs, even allow you in government to think you're a big shot. You've become mayors and congressmen, and judges, all like that. So happy to be up in his world. You've become professors in his colleges and universities. You've become a big shot nigger. And he allows you to buy his most expensive car at heavy interest rates. And he allows you to live in his neighborhood now. And he allows you to sweetheart with his sons and daughters. And you're really tickled that this is great. But all of a sudden, after allowing you and me to sweetheart with his daughter and sweetheart with his sons, now the end has come. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that the white man would force integration, and he would give you his sons, but more particularly his daughters. He said, and the whites would go along with it for a while. He said, but then the judgment would sit and a separation would take place. Now you can see it. Already, he is sick of you. Listen good now.